Hey everybody, Aaron Cowan, Sage Dynamics. Today we're going to be talking about the Mozambique drill, the failure to stop drill, the two to the chest, one to the head, whatever you want to call it. You can look this drill up on the internet if you're not familiar with it, but a lot of people are. Basically, you fire 2 rounds to the chest and then immediately transition your point of aim to the head and deliver a 3rd round to the head, or successive rounds, but usually you see it as a staple 2 and then 1. The drill's been around for a couple decades. It's got like a Wikipedia page, I believe, so if you want to Google it up and kind of read the background, the story, the context, where the drill came from, you can. It's become pretty popular in law enforcement, and you see it in the civilian world a lot. In fact, every time I go to the range, I see 1 or 2 people doing it. Here's my problem with it. It's 2 rounds to the chest, and then transitioning to the head. The reason for the transition to the head, it's not like just boom, 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 although some people do it that way. The whole reason for it is if you deliver 2 rounds to the chest and you don't get a stop, an immediate reaction, you transition to the head. Well, there is no medical immediate reaction in the chest. The heart, the high thoracic cavity, heart, lungs, aorta, anything in there. There's no immediate reaction, not medical anyway. So 2 rounds to the chest, if you don't get an immediate reaction, you're supposed to transition to the head, which is objectively a smaller target. The largest issue I have with that is if I deliver 2 or 4 or 6 rounds to the chest and I don't get an immediate reaction, which I'm probably not going to, at least medically speaking, under additional stress, because I think objectively everybody can agree if you shoot somebody 2 or 4 or 5 times in the chest and they don't go down, your stress level is probably objectively going to increase. You then transfer to the head, which is a smaller point of aim, and deliver a round to the head to get your stop, your incapacitation, whatever you want to call it. The biggest problem I guess I have with that is if you can get the head on the 3rd round, why aren't we getting it on the 1st and the 2nd? So why not, instead of 2 to the chest, 1 to the head, we just do 3 to the face? Now, everybody needs to have a comfortable distance for headshots, somewhere where they're comfortable with. Me, it's inside of 5 yards, 5 meters. Some people it's 3, for some people it's 1, for some people it's arm's distance, and that's fine. Because if we look at our self-defense situations, from 0 to 100 yards, our chances of defending ourselves are going to be closer to the 0 than they are to the 100 in most situations, especially when we come to like concealed carry, handgun, and law enforcement. So does it not then make sense to, instead of training a drill to a dogmatic level, to introduce some variances into it? Instead of 2 to the chest, 1 to the head, let's just go 3 to the face. Is 2 to the chest, 1 to the head faster than 3 to the head? Well, I'm going to kind of take a look at it in this video, but my main reason for kind of filming it was just to give you an idea that we want to stay away from dogmatic drills because it builds that repetitious memory into us to where we might actually do boom, boom, boom on a threat, and they might not go down. So we want to vary it as much as possible. I know it gets talked about a lot, but I don't see it a lot. Let's see what happens when I do 2 to the chest, 1 to the head versus 3 to the face, and look at some speeds. I'd say that's significantly faster. Alright, now obviously this has been pretty subjective. I just shot it from 2 different distances. I went the staple 2 to the chest, 1 to the head, and then I did 3 to the head. Now I'm going to repeat the same drill using my kinesthetic shooting Glock. If you haven't seen my kinesthetic shooting video, it's in the Sage Dynamics YouTube videos. You can check it out. This Glock has no sights. It's specifically something I use to practice point shooting, kinesthetic shooting, in the event that I'm not able to focus and see my sights due to stress. So if you're not familiar with what kinesthetic shooting is, or how stress affects the eyes, you can check out that video. But I'm going to go ahead and shoot it with this and see if our results are any different. Or I should say, my results are any different. right, so that was a subjective, not an objective look at the Mozambique drill. That's my personal shooting ability. We want to practice and train as much as we can so our bar's high. So even if we're having a bad shooting day, our bar's still high enough that our skill level is effective. We're going to be effective in self-defense. I've been shooting rifle a lot more often than I have pistol lately, so I think it definitely shows, but I'm a firm believer in showing your work. I don't think people can necessarily have confidence in me as an instructor unless I can show that I can demonstrate what I can teach. So what we had here is just my speeds drills. I use sight picture, and then I use kinesthetics. Time differences weren't great, but they were there. Does that matter in the grand scheme of things in the real world? I think it does, because there's so many possible variables that go into a potential gunfight. And I know I've said in the past, distance equals time. The less distance I have from my threat, the less time I have to deal with him. If I'm able to get if I'm able to go straight to the head right out of the holster, there's no reason why I shouldn't, barring something preventing me from doing it. If I have to shoot one-handed or something like that, or if I'm just not in a physical body position, or I'm not comfortable, or my threat's moving, those are things that'll make me shoot for the body. We want to work on making our conscious decisions out of the holster on where we're going to put our rounds. The most effective way to incapacitate someone is strike that central nervous system, which is in the head. So start working on your headshots. Start working on getting outside of these failure drills, the dogmatic 2 to the chest, 1 to the head. Do 4 to the chest, 3 to the head. Do 3 to the chest, the face gets the rest. However you want to do it. Thanks, Rob Tran, by the way, for that one. Keep it varied. Work your verbal commands, your offline movement, your kneeling, shooting from the back, shooting from the prone, what have you. Work everything into these close quarters drills and stay away from dogmatic 3-tap drills, 2-trap drills, double taps, whatever you want to say. We want to shoot to stop the threat, which means we shoot him to the ground. I will keep delivering rounds on that bad guy until he's physically on the ground. When he's no longer moving and no longer presenting a threat, only then will I stop firing. I'm Aaron Cowan with Sage Dynamics. Train accordingly.